Welcome to the Lonestar Collective podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Williams. This week I'm joined by co-host Gramps. Our guest this week is Piper Lindeen. We know her because she graduated from the University of Maryland as a Master's of Science in the program for Medical Cannabis Science and Therapeutics. I believe you were like, what, the second class to graduate? Yeah, pretty awesome task there to manage to get through. And now you're the corporate development manager and consultant for Americans for Safe Access.
Yes, it's pretty exciting. I'm really, really excited to be working on the national level. The same things that I was working at here in Texas. And Jesse, you do not know me because of the medical cannabis program. You know me because of advocacy, okay?
All of us in the advocacy space know you for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I like to point out, because there's people who listen who've never met you, and they're like, oh, I know her because she did the master's program.
Oh, for real? That's weird.
Yeah. Well, I was thrilled that the University of Maryland has linked to the podcast because of having you on here to talk about the program. The last episode we had with you.
To share it. I shared it like to people in Canada and stuff. Of course, I'm going to share it. You know? So I did not share Chris.
Oh, she done ratted you out, Chris.
Well, it's on the shelf now, so it's okay.
No, I'll share it. But the thing is, like, I just realized that. But it was like we were talking before the show. It was an emotional thing for me to be on Chris's show, and it's emotional. You know, I get emotional every time I see Chris because of Chris's story.
For those that don't know, my son passed away from epilepsy in 2016. And of course, Piper's son has to deal with seizures because of his LGS, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why it's an emotional thing for her. I tell her that these conversations, the work I do in this movement is what keeps me going. So I'm happy to talk with you, and I'm happy to have you here, and I want you to feel comfortable and be the same.
No, I'm happy. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that you are here. I'm happy to know you. I just get emotional. It's like I have a hard time coping. Sometimes.
It's understandable.
It's a tough thing that when you've got anybody who's got children knows it's a tough thing to talk about when your child has any sort of illness, and it's going to affect them long term. It's going to be something that likely goes with them throughout their life.
Yeah. Hopefully not. Hopefully things will improve. But that's one of the things I get to work on with Americans for Safe Access. And I think that's one of the things I think people don't know, that there are still like tons of medical cannabis patients, even patients who have access in legal states, that are still having a difficult time. And that it's difficult because we really don't know how to properly medicate with cannabis. And so we need real funding for real volumes of research to be able to, tackle this difficult problem. And we need the federal legal status to change in order to get that. We need to get it moved out of the top tiers of the schedule.
Absolutely.
So how did you get into fall into being with Americans for Safe Access? Like, I know that we're all familiar. Texas has a chapter, and I'm pretty sure you've done some stuff with them, but like you're involved in the national chapter. Like, how did this come along? How did this get in your lap?
Well, it was through the U Maryland program. We did things through school, like brown bags with professionals in the industry. And Debbie Turgai, the executive director, was one of the people who did like one of those panels for the school. And so part of the symposium is what it's called. And so I met her, and we kind of had follow-up conversations about advocacy coursework that's now part of the program at U Maryland. And so, I guess I guess she liked me enough to take me on. I'm really grateful for the opportunity. I'm really excited to have sort of a national platform that I can, I don't know, like as advocates, I don't know if you guys do this same stuff, but when you're working legislation or thinking about working legislation, like kind of keeps you up at night sometimes. Like, how do you get this done? So like you're thinking and thinking, what am I going to do? How do I do this? And so,
How do I approach this?
yeah. Yeah. So I got these ideas and I've got a place where I can do them, like the ASA challenge. I'm super excited about, super duper excited about, but also super nervous about. So I'm hoping that it will be like the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, but I'm aware that, I might be delusional, sort of.
Tell us about this challenge you're talking about. Let's elaborate.
So our little video so it started out a long time ago. I did a small little fundraiser, and part of the fundraiser, I planned an air guitar contest. And that was like one of the favorite parts and one of the best functions in the fundraiser. So I thought, like, fundraiser for air guitar. So I started air guitar, and then I realized, Fortnite has air shred. That's their dance. With its air guitar. Yeah. So I called it air shred, and then someone pointed out to me that was Marshall Oken with Cannabis BPO pointed out to me, and I appreciate that so much, that some people may not be tech savvy to, create the background music to do like an air guitar thing on video. And so then I thought, okay, well, I could do any kind of shredding, so like shredding on a skateboard or shredding on a mountain, snowboarding, or shredding on a wave, surfing, or, like people like in our little video, I had my mother-in-law shredding carrots in the back. She's over there shredding carrots, and my father-in-law is shredding. He's putting paper into a shredder. Well, actually, he ran out of paper, so he started to do the cowbell, because our family did Don't Fear the Reaper. We had like more cowbell.
I think the paper shredding thing could catch on. You get a bunch of corporate CEOs to shred those documents they don't want anybody to know about. That's what to my mind.
And
that's the real shred challenge.
That would be a good one for you. Figure something that you can shred in there, and that would be good for you. You should be one of our founding participants, Chris. I think you should, but you can just approach it in a different way. Calling you out, challenging you.
I don't mind doubling down and dressing up like Master Shredder from the Ninja Turtles as well. I'm like,
I mean, hopefully it's fun. I'm like, that's one of the things I wanted it to be, sort of a celebration of, how far we've come with cannabis. I mean, we really struggle still a lot. We're struggling right now. That's part of the reason I'm so emotional sometimes. But though Zach has seizures for, like 4 or 5 seizures in a few days right now. And he relapses every year, and he has since he's been on cannabis. So it's like, we get in desperate modes, and, I want that to show, but I also want to be able to say, we've had 8 months of seizure freedom that we are
awesome.
We should be celebrating, and, it's good stuff. So, I'm hopeful that it'll be fun for people, or somehow liberating for people. That's what I think, maybe Chris can do some liberating with the ASA challenge, right?
I don't know about all that.
But
does this have an official name yet? Y'all just calling it ASA challenge, or
ASA challenge air shred for ASA?
So air shred for ASA. So how can people get involved? Where do they find it?
So we are. It's on. There's a tab on our page, safeaccessnow.org. And I think that it might be safeaccessnow.org/ASA challenge. I'm pretty sure, but we're working on it right now. So it's not rolled out yet. I'm posting my video tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have other people posting over the weekend. And, one of the things too, I know I've had people who are like scared. I had one of my best friends, I told me I'm scared about my job to do it. So I don't know if I can. And I said, well, why don't you just do like this weekend's Halloween? I mean, I know this is going to air Halloween, but this weekend's Halloween. So why don't you just do, in a costume? You don't have to show who you are. You just say, I donated $10 to Americans for Safe Access. Or if it's like a shredder, I donated $10 to Americans for Safe Access and put it in the shredder. And it's just your hands, just to know that this is somebody else who supports medical cannabis. We just need people to see how many of us are supporting it. How many of it's just, we need some way to show that we're out here. So it'd be nice to have people. And one of the things I also wanted to encourage was doing it in different ways. So we did it as a family. And I think I probably will do one myself, just me, and maybe one with just the four of us, our immediate family, and maybe try to get some friends to do one as friends. But I think there's lots of ways that it can be done. What I'd really like to see is big cannabis companies, like those that gave me ideas about how to transform it so it would be a more appealing challenge, right? Cannabis needs to go.
Well, I just want to clarify, don't put the $10 in the shredder and don't put your hands in the shredder.
Yeah. Don't do that. And also we have rules because we don't want it to be taken down. So it's really important to make sure you're not medicating or showing medication on camera because we want it to stay up. We want to be seen. So please leave that off camera. And I'd like, if people would mention Americans for Safe Access in there. We really need to make sure that people are getting driven into the advocacy space. We'd like that $10 donation also. We'd like to challenge 4 other people. So 4 other people. And one of them that I challenged was Will Ferrell. I think it's kind of fun to challenge somebody who you think might be supportive in a public space, and see if they'd like to participate and be part of saying, yes, this is something that I think is important. Because it is really something that's legitimately important and urgent and costing people lives. I mean, they're curing cancer with novel cannabinoids in Israel. Why aren't we working on this in the United States? This is ridiculous.
Yeah. I call it insanity.
It is. It's insane. It's insane. Yeah.
We're America. Don't you know? We're America.
America. It's America.
Freedom.
And innovation. I mean, don't we want to be the innovators in the world? Aren't we going to be the ones to figure out how to cure Lennox-Gastaut syndrome? Because we were willing to look into cannabis, into something that our Congress has convened panels time after time, which have said, this does not belong on Schedule 1. It does not belong on Schedule 1. What are we basing our country on if we have lies written down in our laws? This is
Amen.
One narcotic, and it's not a schedule. No way it should be on there.
Well, it is time for us to go to our sponsor break. So, it's that time. We 15 minutes at it already. So, I'm your host, Jesse Williams, the Lonestar Collective podcast. I'm joined by co-host Gramps this week. Hey, if you're watching our YouTube version of this, we ask you give us a like and a subscribe. You might wind up taking a break. Somebody calls you away from this, and you want to be able to find this again easily. So go ahead and give us a like and subscribe. If you're listening to the podcast, wherever platform you're on, make sure you subscribe. You get a weekly update about when we come out with our podcast. Our guest this week is Piper Lindeen. Americans for Safe Access. We will be right back after this sponsor break.
Oak Cliff Cultivators is a sponsor of Texas Cannabis Collective and the Lonestar Collective podcast. Oak Cliff focuses on quality assurance with their hemp products while providing customer service to help you discover cannabinoids to meet your needs. Their product line includes hemp flower, pre-rolls, CBG tinctures, edibles, Delta 8, and merch. For more information on their products' quality or to shop online today, visit oakcliffcultivators.com or contact them at info@oakcliffcultivators.com.
Thrive Apothecary offers an experience truly unique from anything else in Texas. A full-service cannabis solution that is doctor-owned and offers customers every level of cannabis legally available in Texas. From traditional CBD products to emerging hemp-derived THC edibles, smokables, and now medical cannabis. As a licensed medical cannabis provider, prospective patients from anywhere in Texas can book a sponsored online eligibility consultation to determine if they qualify for a medical marijuana prescription from the comfort of their own home. Plus, for Texas veterans, the first prescription appointment is donated by Thrive. Visit thrivetx.com for more information.
Welcome back to the Lonestar Collective podcast, the official podcast of Texas Cannabis Collective. Distributed on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Facebook, and much more, to give Texans information regarding policy, industry, and culture. Here is this week's host, Jesse Williams and Gramps.
Welcome to the Lone Star Collective podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Williams. I'm joined by co-host Gramps this week. Our guest this week is Piper Lindeen. Man, talking about ASA, Americans for Safe Access. And I must say, we were talking about doing this challenge, this shred challenge, and you mentioned not consuming, not medicating while you're doing it. So I must also recommend, but as well as like, don't really say, I would say, don't say cannabis, don't say weed, don't say marijuana. I know people are gonna be like, why not? It's like, because if it wants to get spread, Facebook nails it for that.
Yep.
Movement to spread. So if you want this movement to spread, and it seems like the people out there would want it to spread, let's get it to spread. Let's do it. Let's get this done.
Yeah, Facebook recognizes this stuff now. Our audio technology picks it up. Their visual stuff picks it up. So it's like, so don't wear shirts with marijuana leaves on it, or you'll be like, no, it's hemp. Yeah, it doesn't care. It doesn't see the difference between the two.
Is this gonna get cold? That's my shirt. Do you see that? Yeah,
I did.
Very colorful Florida. I like to call them Florida shirts.
Yeah. It's comfortable. This is what I wear on the plane usually when I'm going to these conferences now. Because, I want people to, if people are going to the conference too and they're in the airport, I want to be able to have a conversation with them,
Yeah.
That's
a conversation starter for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Advocate to everyone.
See my shirt? You see it? You want to talk about it? You want to talk about that?
You see?
I just see you go up to everybody like, want to talk about what's on my shirt? Mm-hmm. Want to talk about it? No? Okay. Hey, you want to talk about my shirt? You like this?
A lot of people do tell me they like my shirt, but I'm I'm an old lady. It's kind of, people from going from Houston to Las Vegas. There were these. Was it Houston, Las Vegas? Oh no, it was my Baltimore to Houston flights, and people from Baltimore were coming to Houston for a bachelor party or something. I guess Houston's a fun place now, destination. Whoa. but yeah. So and me, this old lady talking to them about weed. It's like, I'm sure not, Funny, right?
So aside from the challenge, what else are you working on with ASA?
So the challenge is kind of designed to bring attention to our biggest probably program, which is Unity. So Americans for Safe Access is a grassroots patient advocacy organization. So our biggest program is bringing people who want to advocate for medical cannabis to DC. So we form it as like a conference. It's multiple days. This year it's December 11th through 14th. And there's a lot of educational events. We have Dedi Miri, who's one of the top medical cannabis scientists in the world. He is going to be our keynote speaker. He's the one that's working on the research that I mentioned a little while ago, killing cancer cells with novel cannabinoids. And so there's educational things like that, but the major part of it is we train the attendees on advocacy, and then we book them appointments with their members of Congress, so they actually get to go and use that advocacy training immediately. And they go in teams, so they're going to be visiting multiple members of Congress. And it's all about putting that face and that story in front of the members of Congress. And so, Chris, have you gone?
I didn't go. I haven't been with ASA, but I have been with National Normal 1 year back in 2019.
Okay, yeah. So, it's a real exciting event. We try to make it real fun. We are one of the only conferences that have a medication area. So it's funny, you might go to these other conferences and everybody's looking for a place to medicate. There's no place to medicate, but we've got one, and we're actually looking for sponsors for our medication tent right now too. So, that's a good place to put your sponsorship. if you want 500 patients from across the country to see your name every time they're medicating, okay? So,
yeah.
Look at me, I'm medicating. Here's my name. Just what everybody needs.
It's on my shirt. So we try to make it fun. We're going to be having some complimentary activities to the ASA Challenge. Hopefully we'll be able to get the ASA Challenge air shred for ASA to get really rolling really well before Unity to bring attention to that advocacy. So we're hoping to have attention to the advocacy, and so that there's some sort of maybe media presence behind the Unity conference and behind the patients who are going to advocate at the Capitol. And hopefully we'll be having a bill that's been authored that we can work. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get this done. So yeah, we need as much participation as possible to get it done.
Absolutely.
What else have you got going on? You're talking about apparently Houston's a party town now.
I mean, it's fun. Houston's always been fun, but yeah, no, there's some stuff going around Edo, I guess, that I think one of you guys' sponsors is over there, maybe, right? I don't know.
Well, we're sponsored right now currently by Oak Cliff Cultivators and Thrive Apothecary, both of which are Dallas and Fort Worth.
There's no Thrive in Houston? I thought there was a Thrive in Houston.
If there is, I'm not aware of it.
Okay.
It'd be nice if there is. Shout out to
if there is, I don't think it's Thrive Apothecary.
Yes,
it might be Thrive something else.
Okay.
I don't think Trey and them have a store in Houston yet. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe they should or something.
What popped in my mind now is something you mentioned earlier is when you're working on legislation about it keeping you up thinking about it, is that I would say for me, and I don't pay attention. I would say I don't pay attention. I don't have as much focus on the national legislation that takes place. And it's because it moves all year and it moves slow. But in Texas, when it happens, my thoughts don't really converge on a specific bill, but looking at all of the bills that have been filed and trying to piece together in my head what could be an end plan for all of those bills.
Yeah.
Because we only meet for so long. And to me, that means there's always something there that's I don't want to say like a back door in case something else needs to be slipped in, moved through. They've always got to ace up the sleeve.
Yeah.
And
well,
to me,
to be honest, I haven't really looked at bills for the upcoming session. Is it? I don't
Well,
even
no, I haven't filed any yet.
No.
filing dates have happened yet.
No,
I don't even know.
not till after the election.
I'm so busy with this. Oh yeah, not till after the election. That makes sense because they're not elected yet. Hello. But I'm so preoccupied with trying to raise funds for Unity and the ASA challenge that it's like I feel like I'm like buried in my work, like I barely look up,
Yeah.
So
Right.
so yeah, there's that. I usually do stuff for the election, and I haven't done anything this year. I haven't even answered those texts that say, "Can you donate?" No.
Speaking of text, I got one of those while we're sitting here talking.
I stopped getting ones for random politicians, like statewide and local level, and started getting ones for like, when I say local level, like my local representative. I started getting ones for like mayor, like the Firefighters Association was like, "Hey, this is who we recommend." And I'm like, whoa, as a Firefighters Association, like I'm not gonna lie, I've cheered on the firefighters in the past because they get the short end of the stick in our town.
Sure.
Houston does too. I feel immense empathy for the Houston Fire Department and the crap they get put through out there.
Yeah, EMS. They kind of have to fight for stuff. It's
Yeah.
I like to remind everybody they didn't write a song called "The Fire Department." Okay, they didn't write a song called "The EMS Crew" either. So
they should.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to be singing that when I'm having a heart attack. Like, oh, really? Just throw you out the back of the ambulance. I'm like, good luck. Chris, weren't you an EMT at one point, or you were an ambulance driver?
Yeah.
I plead the fifth. No, yeah, I was. Back in, geez, you're gonna make me tell how old I am now. Gosh, I have to think. 1985, 85, 86 for that year. And it was right at a year, and I said, I've had enough. I got to get out of this. But I made the mistake of going to work in my hometown. So I knew everybody. And mind you, my hometown was, 3,000 people. So
everybody knows everybody.
Yeah. You fart on one end of town, they know what it smells like before you get to the other end of town.
Well, the thing that hurts about that, because I grew up in a town where maybe there was 400 people, 500 people. And it's not just that you know everybody. It's that when something really bad happens to somebody, you not only know it, but you see it. And you're in a position where you directly see it. So every person that wrecked a motorcycle and didn't wear a helmet, you got to see the fallout from that.
Yeah. And then, of course, we're right there by, it's not interstate, but Central Expressway up from Dallas up into Oklahoma is the main thoroughfare. It might as well be an interstate. And, we had the highway accidents to deal with too. And literally, plastic bags and tweezers is what all I'm going to say. It got that bad, and mind you, I did this at 19.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's back when they're like seatbelts. No, I'm not. No. Why would I wear a seatbelt?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to help me, but it is that time again. It is time for our sponsor break here at the Lonestar Collective Podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Williams. I'm joined by co-host Gramps this week. This episode, our guest is Piper Lindeen of Americans for Safe Access. She's the corporate development manager and consultant with them now. We'll be right back after this sponsor break.
sponsor of Texas Cannabis Collective and the Lonestar Collective podcast. Oak Cliff focuses on quality assurance with their hemp products while providing customer service to help you discover cannabinoids to meet your needs. Their product line includes hemp flower, pre-rolls, CBG tinctures, edibles, Delta 8, and merch. For more information on their products' quality or to shop online today, visit oakcliffcultivators.com or contact them at info@oakcliffcultivators.com.
Thrive Apothecary offers an experience truly unique from anything else in Texas. A full-service cannabis solution that is doctor-owned and offers customers every level of cannabis legally available in Texas. From traditional CBD products to emerging hemp-derived THC edibles, smokables, and now medical cannabis. As a licensed medical cannabis provider, prospective patients from anywhere in Texas can book a sponsored online eligibility consultation to determine if they qualify for a medical marijuana prescription from the comfort of their own home. Plus, for Texas veterans, the first prescription appointment is donated by Thrive. Visit thrivetx.com for more information.
Welcome back to the Lonestar Collective podcast, the official podcast of Texas Cannabis Collective. Distributed on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Facebook, and much more, to give Texans information regarding policy, industry, and culture. Here is this week's host, Jesse Williams and Gramps.
Welcome back to the Lone Star Collective podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Williams. I'm joined by co-host Gramps this week. This episode, our guest is Piper Lindeen. She's with Americans for Safe Access. We all know her for being an advocate in Texas. And I really want to say, we talk about her being an advocate. There's a phrase I've been telling people people are like, well, what did you do this last session? I'm like, well, I drug a bill across the finish line. And if there was anybody who was by my side, it was Piper.
Yeah, you did, man. Going live on your I don't know.
Yeah, you were with me. We're out in the little round area, whatever they call it, the little open air thing.
Yeah.
And we went live to talk about what was going on, needing people to call in.
Yeah.
And I know you were hitting up every office you could, doing the same thing I was, trying to figure out what was going on, where it was at.
Nothing works better than a mom crying, right? But they're real tears. They're real tears. And the advocacy is hard. You know, it's hard because you have to get in touch with, you have to tell your story. Your story is hard to bring up again and again, but it needs to change, so we do it, right, Chris?
Absolutely.
That story, as much pain as it causes, again and again, we got to keep it from happening to other people. We got to get people figuring out what's going to work and make it available to them.
Absolutely. I'm going to switch gears on us a little bit because there's a little bit of news that happened today that I know we've got to talk about, Jesse.
Yeah. Yep.
And I don't know if you even have heard about it, Piper.
I don't know.
But
Storm is coming.
Texas Department of Public Safety commissioners made some decisions today. You want to elaborate a little, or you want me to, Jesse?
So they have realized with their forecast models, I guess that's a more technical way of saying it, that we will have more patients than our dispensary load can currently handle within the next year and a half.
Oh God. Texas is supposed to be the biggest market in the world. Okay. Texas is going to be the biggest market in the world.
Yeah. Well, they're predicting, right now they say it's increasing by 10% month over month currently. And with that amount of growth, even if there are no expansions in the next legislative session, with that amount of growth, we'll be well over 100,000 patients, and they won't be able to supply that many patients with just the two operating licensees. So
Yeah. Well, Good Blend's campaign, the Ride for Your Rights, is a great effort to show patients out there, and it's nice that it puts their Ride for Your Rights at the forefront of it, like educating the consumer on
Sure.
this is available to you. So I have issued the challenge to them to make a Ride for Your Rights to the Capitol. So to rent buses from the major cities to go to the Capitol during legislative session and advocate. So I guess I'm calling them out again. So right.
There you go. You're good at
But-
that.
But right now as well,
Yeah, they'll
this-
do it. They
the-
will. Sure.
but right now in the interim of them getting ready, they brought in a consultant from us. I think it was like somebody who's worked with Florida with doing their dispensary programs and licensing. They're going to work on getting the licenses expanded. But in the meanwhile, they're authorizing satellite offices for our currently operating dispensaries.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's about time. It's like,
No doubt.
how did that not occur to any of the regulators, right? That their employees have to be back by end of business day. So how are we supposed to serve patients in El Paso? It just doesn't make any sense at all. Like, why
Ding,
can't
ding,
we
ding, 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 ding.
all amounts of
Or
God-
Texarkana for that matter.
yeah, any. I mean, there's like, well, El Paso's the furthest, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of places that you can't get to and back in a day in Texas. In a
Out
boot.
in the
Absolutely.
West Texas town of El Paso, I couldn't get any medical weed. It takes a day to drive over there and back. Shit out of luck, I'm down on my knees.
Yes, you need to.
Shoot, I don't know if you can really do it in a day.
Yeah,
'Cause
no,
They got to be back by midnight.
no. I think they got to be back by end of business day, don't they? It's like ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, period, that they haven't been able to open brick and mortar dispensaries before now.
Yeah.
Period. It's just ridiculous.
So, what is Texas Original doing? I don't know. Like, they have something here, right?
They've created their own, from my understanding, and they'll correct me if I'm wrong when I say this, and they eventually hear about it. They have that.
I also did issue that challenge to Morris like a long time ago with compassion cultivation. So he can still take up that opportunity too to bus a whole bunch of people from each major state to the Capitol to get them there. I think that would be a good campaign. I think it would, and we could get what do you call it? Documentary? Or forget it. We could get a podcast to follow the freaking thing. You could do live podcast. I'm challenging you now.
I got the camera now, apparently.
Let's give you the camera for that, right?
But
But
they
then
have like an office. I think it's like they have an office where they basically created their own pickup location.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they don't store anything there overnight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that
So-
makes sense, except for it only makes sense in the constraints of the law, the stupid law.
And that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the sense it makes together when you make a penny. No sense.
Well, the one thing I will say is it appears with this movement from the Department of Public Safety, which we all agree is never should have been put in charge of a medical program in the first place. It's ludicrous that they are, but it shows, in my opinion, that even this law enforcement agency is seeing the fact that this is a viable program. There are people who are legitimately signing up and wanting to get this medicine, and that is growing exponentially with condition lists. So at least they are recognizing these facts and willing to look at progressing. That's something we all feared would never happen.
As everybody's been saying about all the other things we've seen with cannabis happening recently, I just hope this isn't a last minute political stunt by anybody, because we have an election that's coming up on the 8th.
Well, this is true, but hard for it to be when it's a group of commissioners that did this, not one individual.
Well, and
You
then
know.
also, the thing is like I guess I'm not really a perpetual optimist, but tenacious optimist. I don't
Yeah,
know.
me too. Me
Like
too.
hold on to it until it's gone. But sometimes I get discouraged. But yeah, what was I saying? I was Chris, what did you just say?
I was just talking about how we need to recognize that the Department of Public Safety is recognizing that this is a viable program and it's growing and it's going to continue to do so.
We were talking about the never mind. Let's skip ahead. I can't remember. Too much on my mind, I guess.
But yeah, I'm just hoping it's not one of those last minute things. I've wondered if it's something that they're just possibly anticipating that there could be a shift with this election. It's always up in the air. It's always a possibility. And they may be just prepping for something radical, some possible radical change that could be happening in the program in the next 8 months.
This is what I was going to say. I just remembered it. So the thing is, no matter what happens because of what they're saying, at least they're saying it now. And so it's a signal that they need to appeal to people on this, whether or not, like whatever, 5 years ago, people would like shut the doors in our faces and stuff, Now they're not shutting the door in your face. Now they're trying to appease you, even if they don't do it, it's evidence that we're getting closer to the goal. And I feel like, the stuff that happened with Biden, this is a signal that the iron's hot. We need to strike. We need to strike. We 1-2 punch with Ace of Challenge and Unity. I'm excited.
The shred.
The shred.
Maybe we can take people who don't want to vote on these bills and we can shred them. That's a good idea.
There you go.
I can dress up like Shredder and shred them.
Yes.
So we'll get some full life size cutouts and just shred the cutouts.
That could work. I don't know. I don't think it could work. No, we should. Don't do that, anybody.
It sounded fun anyway.
It sounded like a good idea in theory when we were talking about in the podcast, but watching people at the Capitol do it, oh God, no.
Yeah, maybe okay.
We're discouraging that. What you can shred is, I was actually thinking this last night. What you can shred is maybe you can shred like you can find some sort of printed out version of a cannabis law and shred it symbolically, right?
There you go. There you go.
Or something like that.
Just don't do that in front of a committee while they're holding a hearing about cannabis. Somebody did that. It did not really go over well image-wise as they thought it was going to.
Oh shit! That's my watch.
Your watch is talking to you. I'm envious. My watch don't say anything. It just sits on my arm.
I accidentally answered it. I was trying to reject it without being on camera. Sorry. I should turn my watch off too. You told me to turn my phone off. It's your fault, Jesse. Jinxed me.
I told you to do the right thing. You're telling me you didn't follow through.
I turned my phone off. My phone is off.
I said put your phone on silent. You said, I'm gonna do I'll put it on off.
My watch is on silent, but I accidentally hit the button to answer it.
Hey Piper isn't silent. Your phone is a horrible mime. So is your watch.
It's my mom, and she's calling me again. It's like I reject her calls. Keep calling.
Why are you not taking my call? I was on another call. I don't care.
You should answer your mother.
Oh, my mom's great. Did you guys watch my video? My mom is
not yet.
The funniest parts of my video, I don't know, are my brother-in-law who's he's got the sunglasses on and he's like over there. Oh, I think he's like this way. And and he says, I got the fever. And then my mom says, we need more cowbell.
Yes. Yes, that is one of the best SNL skits ever. I got a fever.
Yeah. That's
and
why
I need more. It needs more cowbell.
Yeah, Yeah. So the thing is, like, I had a really hard time. Like, my family did not want to do this. Okay. Like, I was just like, we have to do this. We have to do this because this is the way to make this change happen. I need you. This is important for us. And so everybody, right? So they come over, everybody's like begrudgingly like, okay, let's do this. And then everybody had fun. It was fun. It was a great Thanksgiving activity. So hopefully like people will get together with their families during Thanksgiving and do a little skit, a little, they can do We Need More Cowbell or make up their own, that's goofy or funny or whatever. Yeah. I'd like to see some people skiing, this is how I shred. Yeah.
Well, I do have a recommendation for anybody who does want to.
Or Sha'Carri Richardson, shred.
Well, I do have a recommendation for anybody who does want to make a video and you really want it to get out there is that when you make it, and I'm like, I got to find my phone, is don't hold your phone like this, hold your phone like this. Vertical video. That is the future of social media now.
Yeah.
And I say that as somebody who's in the middle of a advanced social media analytics class. That is what Facebook, Instagram, all these groups are trying to push it out. Even YouTube has taken priority to pushing out their shorts with vertical video.
We're here, right? We're going to keep talking on our phones and using these computers. Although I think I have a shoulder issue from using my phone and computer. I think I'm going to have to stop it, Like, I think it's I don't think. I've been told by my physical therapist that's my issue. So, okay.
I actually know some people that have been told they have to put their phone down because it's messing up their shoulder from all the thumb action.
That is, you have to have your arms supported and have it at eye level if you're not going to hurt yourself with repetitive phone action. So
I imagine it causes bursitis issues. So in our last moments, I'll say plug this website again. Tell us where people can find you, get a hold of you, and be involved with Americans for Safe Access.
People can get a hold of me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, at Piper at safeaccessnow.org. And our website is safeaccessnow.org. And the ASAFE Challenge is at / after the safeaccessnow.org. And you can see my video. Well, I guess you probably have seen it. Oh, wait, this is live. So you can see my video tomorrow around 2:00 Central Time is when I'm going to be releasing it, and then we'll post it to the ASA website. And
well, this probably won't go up until after that. It probably won't be edited. Like, we're not streaming live right now.
Okay, well, it says live, so it was like, I didn't know this was live, but okay. All right, so you hopefully will have seen this already, but if you haven't done one, we love to have you participate, especially if you want this to change. You just need to take action. That's the thing. Just do it. Do it. Write a piece of paper. It's easy. Say, I gave $10 to Americans for Safe Access. This is how I shred. Name your 4 people. That's it. It's done.
Oh God, the joke from Chappelle's Show crossed my mind now, and I'm trying to remember what the guy's name is. Dylon. He's like, the 4 hottest rappers are Dylon, and Dylon. He just says the same names over and over.
Okay, so can I say one more name on here since he's a rapper? So at MJ Unpacked, I got to meet Lil Roddy, and he was really very nice. And I think, we had some spiritual, great conversations. And so hopefully he'll be participating. Got to call one more person out, right? When I have the opportunity.
Absolutely.
You say Lil Yachty?
Lil Roddy.
Oh, Lil Roddy. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hadn't listened to his music before. I didn't know it was Lil Roddy. But he, he answered my cell phone's on my business card, and he texted me the next day. It was nice. I had nice conversations with you last night. So, it was cool. It was after the Clio Awards. We were talking in the lobby at the convention center outside of the Clio Awards. So yeah, he was very nice Very nice person.
Cool.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
it is that time then. We are wrapping up our
Right.
episode of the Lone Star Collective podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Williams. Our guest this week is Piper Lindeen, Americans for Safe Access. We're glad to have you back, Piper. We're glad you spent the time with us. My co-host this week is Gramps, Chris Grisolia. Wonderful time. If you made it this far yet again, likes and subscribe go a long way to getting this information out to other people out on YouTube or the podcast platform that you're listening to. So go ahead and hit your subscribe button. Give us a like. Make a comment down below. Tell us what you think about what's going on. How you think this nation could fix its cannabis laws. I'd love to see that discussion take place in our comments. What a day. So that's got to be it for this episode of the Lone Star Collective podcast. Y'all have a great and safe week. Be safe.
Peace.